This is Jon Renau Miranda in the color 32F. I completely refurbished her. She was horribly dry. I call it cuss and curl day. It was horribly dry. I completely straightened her throughout and added these new curls. And I added some root markers as well. Please accept full responsibility for your own actions if you wish to try any of my suggestions. These are synthetic plastic wigs. By the way, this is a regular synthetic wig. It's not a heat-friendly wig. But regular synthetic wigs can be refurbished. Test your tools though. Not all tools are created equally. This one at 210 degrees might be different than a different one at 210 degrees. So you really need to test your tools. This is Jon Renau Miranda in the color 32F. I'm kind of losing some of my lighting. It's getting cloudy. I've only worn her one time and she is horribly dry and tangled. She should not have tangles all the way up in this hair. Usually tangles are only at the very bottom. Anyways, oh, and she's in the color 32F, if I didn't say that. Gorgeous color. I love that color because it's kind of got a cherry red underneath. Anyway, I am refurbishing her with my Launch flat iron at 210 degrees. This one has been discontinued. They replaced it with this one. Make sure your hands are always clean. Make sure the wig is always clean. Make sure your combs and your curling irons are always clean. Everything. If the wig has product on it, you're either baking the product onto the hair, which is not good, or you're baking the product onto the flat iron, which is not good. Don't use the same tools that you use on your bio hair, because you don't want the oils or products from your bio hair to transfer onto the tools and then transfer onto your wig. I like to pay attention when I'm doing this because I wanted to go in a nice smooth motion. If I turn or look away, sometimes I get a funny bend. I hold my finger there just to keep that tail from falling down. And then I kind of take my fingers and just give it a little twist. I like to take thin, small sections. All gets nice heat on the heat plates. Use your iron as cool as you can go and still get the job done, because you don't want to overheat it. I did a Noriko a couple weeks ago and I could go up to 250 on it because they're stronger fibers. They can take the heat. Even though it didn't really need it, but it was a 3-year-old wig and I had had it up in ponytails and out in the wind, and I had not done anything to it. So that's why it needed touched up. I go slower towards the ends because that's where the extra crinkles or the dryness are. I just hold my hand there so I don't have to go finding it, you know, mixed in that other hair there. If I comb through it and I still feel something, I'll comb through it again. Because if you're going to take the time to refurbish, take the time. Do it right. If you do it right, you can get longer wear out of it before you have to do this again. So then I just let go, and take my fingers and give it a twist. So it kind of cools in that twist. I do have to make sure that I'm putting pressure on this iron to keep it closed. Maybe that's why they reinvented it. So if you're not getting the heat plates nice and flat on the hair, it might not be doing what you want, and you don't realize it's because you loosened your grip. If you've got a tangle towards the bottom or anywhere that you just can't get out, sometimes just go ahead and run your heat over it. That will help melt it, because that's literally what we're doing. These are synthetic plastic wigs. By the way, this is a regular synthetic wig. It's not a heat-friendly wig. But regular synthetic wigs can be refurbished. Test your tools, though. Not all tools are created equally. Because yes, there have been irons that I purchased and still had them at low temperature, and they were still too hot. So I had to be very particular about what. Okay, like, see, there's one that, don't pull and tug on it. It will zip up and cause one of those curly ribbon crinkles. But if you just can't get it out, you could cut it out, or come in there with your heat a little bit. And that kind of helps warm it up, melts it, so that you can go in and comb it out. I always put this in right where my fingers are, because then it's not catching on any hair. Then I move it up. Otherwise, if you just shove it in up there, sometimes you're going to get some kinks. We'll call those chaotic curls. I do this on dry hair, and no, I don't use heat protectants. I try not to use any products on my wigs. Seems like the more products I use, they would get dirty, then you have to clean them again, and I don't want to have to always clean them before I heat them. You want them clean before you put heat on them, and I don't always want to do that. So I just don't use any products at all on my regular synthetic or my heat friendly, and they all seem to be doing fabulous. So we hope this one is going to do really, really good after she gets all refurbished. I just have a table sitting here that I've got these heat pads that you can set your irons on so they don't melt the table. I prefer these styrofoam heads over a lot of people like the canvas blocks. I don't. I think they're heavy. They're heavy when I'm trying to move this tripod with my feet. They're heavy if I'm trying to lift it up and down. These styrofoam work just fine for me. I have never gotten up so close that I, melt a nose or something. And I pin the wig onto it with T-pins. And I pin it, one in the ear tabs each side and one in the napes each side. Never pin onto a mono top or a lace front. You can cause a hole. Anyway, look at that. Look at how much nicer that is. Look at how nice that is. Now, watch when I just let this down. Of course, this one's a small one already. But I mean, look at that. I can't even get through that. Make sure your fine-tooth comb doesn't have any bends or kinks or anything. Sometimes I've found one that came that way and it just pulls or snags on the hair, and you don't want that to happen. Also, if you take too large of a section, or too thick of a section, it might not curl, and you don't know why it's not curling, and that's because it's too thick and the heat isn't penetrating both sides. You can still feel a tangle. If I can still feel a tangle, I still run over it again. I can still feel something down there at the bottom. So I need to go slower at the bottom. I mean, that's why some people think theirs wear out so quickly. They don't have to wear out quickly. You can refurbish them. You can make them, in my opinion, better than new. Because yes, sometimes they even come from the factory, dry or kinked just because of the way they've been handled in the factory. Anyway, I think you kind of get the idea of it. Small sections, clean hands, clean tools. Take your time and do a good job. Love you. Okay, I really wanted to finish this wig today. I've never shown you how I finish a top. I am standing up now, so I had to redo my camera and lights. It is raining. I hope you can hear the rain. So it's raining, it's dark, and I don't have professional lights. But we're going to try this. So when I am doing the top of the head, can you see I've got her angled way back. I love these kind of tripods. Did you see that? Got her angled way back. I love these kind of tripods that go to almost a 90-degree angle if you can get that. So here we go. So comb out the big tangles. Always have your hands clean, clean, clean. The hair is clean. No products on it. I don't like products on my pieces. So yeah, it's going to be cool today. It's going to be 65 degrees. Love the rain. Anyway, I should have waited for more light to do this, but I only put my makeup on once a week, and I wanted to wear this one today. Cool fall weather. I'm going to take that twice because it feels like it needs it. I should say I'm using my Lange Larev at 210 degrees. Seems to be enough heat for this piece. And then I'm going to curl these back away from the face. Probably why I've never done a top video. It's more difficult to work and have this looking over my shoulder like this. I remember I already combed that out with wide tooth comb. Now if you get any really difficult tangles that don't want to come out like that one, work gentle. Don't pull on it because it'll zip up and make a crinkled tangle. You don't want that. So, or you can also come in and go ahead and make one pass, and that will warm it up so that you can come in and comb it again. See, maybe now we got through that tangle. So we got through that. So if you have a really tough one, you can do that. If she's a lot of thick hair, depending on where the tangle is, you could cut it out. But only do that if it's in an inconspicuous place or plenty of thick hair. Then I take my hands and curve that where I want it to cool. If I just dropped that wonky, she might cool wonky. Don't get in a hurry. Take your time. If you do it right, she can last a lot longer. I did this to and I'm going to take that strand thinner. I did this to my Palm Springs blonde Miranda maybe 3 years ago, and I haven't done it again. She has been beautifully amazing. This is 3 years ago, 2 years ago, and last year. Coming through there to get those crinkles melted out. That's what it's doing. It's literally melting them. It's plastic synthetic hair. I can still feel some in the end, so I'm going to do it again. You want to come a nice smooth motion so you don't get a funny bend, especially since we're up in an area that might be more visible. And yes, I've got funny shadows because I've got an overhead light behind me. I've got my lamp to the right. Just trying to get a little bit more light in here. I apologize for the shadows, but I think you can get the idea of what I'm doing. Hope you can see. All right. Coming down, get all the crinkles and tangles. Yes, you are literally melting them out. You're heating them up, you're melting them so you can change them. And I don't think I've mentioned this before, but when you change a piece, either regular synthetic or heat-friendly synthetic, when you change it with heat, it now will retain that change until you change it with heat again. So now that I've changed her, and can you see how gorgeous that is? See, if I want them a little less curly, I can run my fingers through it. I could run and pick through it. Look, I couldn't do that first. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. So if I shampoo and condition her, she will dry like this. She will not go back to her original pattern unless I physically heat her up and style her back to the original pattern. I'm trying to reach under the tripod to reach my tools without my head getting in the way. I can still feel tangles in there. So that's probably why you hear my voice going in and out. And even though she is designed to part on the left and go that way, I still am going to, I like to go the opposite direction because I'm a rebel. And I want more lift and volume and fullness. So see, I kind of took that a little bit more of a turn from the top there because see, I wanted that little lift. Little lift. Okay, so like right here is where her left mono part is. And I want to kind of over direct that so that when it comes, when I flip it down, when I wear her, she'll have a little bit more volume. I've even done, I think maybe I have a video up there, how I take that and I hold it straight up, maybe let go of it for a minute. Hold it straight up and let it dry that way, cool that way. Yeah, I'm over directing it to the right side if you were wearing it. Still working on the crinkles. Still crinkles in the ends there. I go a little bit slower in the ends so they've got a little bit more heat on them. Then, let's see, how do I want to do this? Okay, I want to go over and like this. And I think this one's going to be going forward. But gives a little lift. Not much, but more than if I hung it straight down. So I'm going to take this piece thinner. And sometimes when I'm working on the top, sometimes I have to do or redo it until I get the way I want it. I could hold that in my hand. Sometimes I forget those things. And when you're hearing that crunchy sound that the iron is making, because these plates are so nice, you're actually hearing, if you can hear it over the rain, you're actually hearing it go over the top of those crunchies. Probably why they're called crunchies. And I could feel it stick there. Oh, it's still turned out okay. See, I like the way it kind of lifts there. Let's see if I can go just kind of straight back here. That's okay. Okay, this is the right side of the wig. This is the top. This is the right side. Again, I'm going to try to take everything back. Another bad tangle. Because I like volume. You've probably seen some of my pictures. I like volume in my hair. Nice and smooth. I had to learn how to hold that comb in a different direction because it kept snagging on my lace gloves. My lace gloves are there to camouflage the sunspots that I can't stand to look at when I, did you get that one? That I can't stand to look at when I go back and watch these videos. Okay, so this is right at the temple, so I want to make sure I'm curling it back. Sometimes, yeah, I go through these whole videos talking to myself and then I end up having to redo it because it may or may not have shown what I was trying to show you. I can see what piece I was working on because it's straight. All right, now we're going to curl it back away from the face. There you go. I might have to save the bangs. No, I can't save them for a different day because I want to wear her today. Since I'm at a funny angle for the camera, I'm just going to take everything back. Gosh, I hope this is all in the frame because I don't want to redo this on another one. I don't know if I have another one that needs it. But I don't think I've showed you any videos of how to curl the top. Okay, right now I'm on the top of the head, almost behind the bangs. So again, I'm going to kind of hold that straight up while it cools a little bit. That's going to give it a little bit more up and away volume. Doing it again because I can still feel some crinkles. And trying to go away from the face if this falls left. So kind of curl it up and like that. And if that was too curly, like I think it's a little too curly, just zip it down real quick. If any of these are too curly, just zip them down real quick. Maybe that one is. Zip. See? Just gives it a quick heat. But you only want to do that after you've already gone through and got out all the tangles. You don't want to be zipping through tangles. That zip is only for special occasions. I hope you can hear that rain. So this is to the right of center. The left mono part starts about right here. So I want to curl this away from the face if it most likely will fall that way. But I'm kind of going to go back and like that. And the ends fell out, but I still, do I like the way they look? Yeah, I still like the way they look. So I'm going to leave it. And so see, I don't touch this as it cools, because I'm liking that to cool that way. And because this is my piece, and I know that I don't want a lot falling forward in the bang. And you can also do this. Okay, let's go ahead and turn her around. See, this is right at her left temple. I have already cut the bangs that, well, some of them. I've cut some of the bangs that I like. I'm going to go ahead and get this tiny little piece. Because that's, well, that kind of matches. Anyway, talking to myself. So right now, this is at the left temple, kind of at the opening of the left mono part. Then I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back and away from the face. Up, back, and away from the face. And take my fingers and move it. That looked a little curly there, so just a quick zip through it. I've already done that one. Oh, maybe it's there. Where's the piece we need to do? Right there. I can tell that that piece is, you know, it's going to be a lot thinner. It's right there at the front lace. And I like lift there, so this is another one that I'm going to put some heat at the bottom. And I'm going to hold that up straight for a little bit. Even though, I mean, this is not hot here, but it's hot if I touch the plate. So you don't want to get it too close to the lace or any of your mono features. Don't want to melt them. You can also hold it while it curls, so that if that curl was too tight. But by holding it that way, I lost some of my lift. So I don't like that one. I'm going to do it again. So I'm going to over direct this a little bit forward. And then come back. And if that's too curly, I'm going to come back and get that, you know, do my little zip down. I'm going to do that after this dries, cools, because I want it to cool up and back. If I forget, then you'll see it in pictures, I guess. You say, why is that one piece too curly? So now I'm at the right side, well, or top. I'm kind of top center. And you know what? I think I probably lied to you. I can feel some product on there. Don't know what it is because it's not making my iron sticky, but I can feel it. Don't do what I do what I tell you. Don't heat your wigs up with product on them. And so I'm going to try to go back away from the face. I can tell it's got product on it because the iron is kind of dragging as it goes through. Okay, so now, and you know, and that still has a funny bend right there at the front. This is kind of why tops are difficult, because I'm more particular the way they turn out. And because I know that, you know, when I wear this, I don't want to have to redo it again. And I am going to Walmart today. I want it to look good. So now I'm at the right temple in the front. Trying to hold those straight up to cool. And then, because this is the right side, I'm going to go back, away from the face. And right there at the beginning is where I feel that drag, that it must have some product on it. All right, that's gonna work. Let's see if we can quick show you. Where was that curly one we had? Right here. So I'm going to take that one that just was not curling the way I want and just do a quick zip down. All right, let me see if I can show you what I do with the bangs. They were pretty much doing what I want. You know what? I'm going to leave those. Those are fine. This one needs a little help. Anyway, since my curling iron's in the other room, we're going to go ahead and just try it with this. Again, I'm going to try to lift it up and away. Let that cool a little bit. I'm not as good doing the bangs with a flat iron. So maybe let them kind of cool over my finger like that. And I like to kind of separate them out, just a tiny piece at a time. That's why a 1-inch curling iron comes in handy sometimes, so you can get in there close. Because I don't want that whole roll in the front. See, I kind of did what I want. I don't know if those are probably not doing what I want. Better. Do I want to leave those or not? Taking up all your time. Okay, let's go ahead and do them. So I can tell that's a little bit thicker piece. Let's just do it. And you want to be careful not to grab the pieces behind, because you don't want to get them a funny bend when you've already got them going the direction you want. And I'd rather have it a little too curly than not, because I can always put a little product on it, kind of straighten it down. Yes, I know I said I don't like to use product, but if I do on my bangs to make them look piecey, this is what I like, mixed with water. And then there's that one piece, because I know she doesn't have enough bangs yet. I can cut it. All right, I'll show you pictures. Love you. Hope you could see everything. This is Jon Renau Miranda in the color 32F. I have completely refurbished her. I only wore her once and she was bone dry. So I completely straightened her and recurled her. Anyway, I'm loving the way she looks now. Love you.